Hey guys, Nozzle here and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we'll be talking about Sho Suzuki from Mob Psycho 100 versus Trish from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you're going to enjoy this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and let's just get on with it. For strength and attack potency for Sho, he was stated to be on par with the Ultimate 5, who should scale to, if not lower than base Mob, who later on could tank a God Beam from God Dimple, which had calced out to 93.3 kilotons of TNT or town level. You could scale higher than this, possibly scaling to the group that base Mob helped power. They could create a large amount of energy eclipsing a mountain, which is calculated out to 5.38 megatons of TNT or small city level. Of course, the fact that Mob wasn't alone when he did this brings the validity into this, brings the validity of this feat into question. Though considering the fact is doing pretty much all of the heavy lifting, you could argue Trish should still scale to him. As for Trish, meanwhile, Spice Girl was capable of cutting off Sticky Finger's arm, who could fight Golden Experience, who scales to Gyatro. He was capable of freezing an ocean with power equal to 1.05 megatons of TNT, meaning that if you take Sho at his low end, then Trish would be stronger, but if you take Sho at his higher end, then Sho would be stronger. As for speed, Sho should scale to Shimazaki, who is capable of dodging bullets at point blank, which has calcs ranging between 5.2 thousand miles per hour to 60,000 miles per hour. You could maybe argue light speed to Sho with the fact he's able to manipulate light, and also could possibly scale to Teruka, who claimed he can move at the speed of light. Of course, these are quite questionable, but bring up in the conclusion how that changes things if we were to go with the higher end. As for Trish, meanwhile, she was capable of cutting off Sticky Finger's arm before he could react, who should scale to King Crimson, who could react to Silver Chariot. Silver Chariot could tag Hanged Man, who moves through beams of light, which is calculated out to 365 to over 1,200 times faster than light, meaning that Trish would be faster than Sho. As for durability, Sho is capable of tanking attacks from people who are comparable to him, including even base Toriichiro while he was holding back, which could possibly imply that his durability is higher than his attack potency. As for durability for Trish, he's also capable of taking hits comparable to her, so it's basically the exact same stories as with the attack potency. For abilities, weaponry techniques for Sho, he has telekinesis, psychic energy manipulation, being able to project it into energy attacks and then store over time to charge them up. Aura, force field creation, explosive manipulation, extrasensory perception, being able to see ghosts, spirits, and auras as well, and being able to sense their strengths. Non-physical interaction, being able to interact with and exercise spirits. Power nullification, being able to analyze the methodology behind the psychic attack and is able to then negate it if he's able to do that. Light manipulation or invisibility, being able to warp the light around him to make himself invisible. Regeneration negation through, exercising spirits. Resistance to mind manipulation and spiritual manipulation, as Dimple claimed that all espers naturally resist being possessed or hypnotized. As for Trish, meanwhile, she has extrasensory perception, being capable of seeing ghosts and souls, and also stands are invisible as well to people who don't have stands. She also has multiple cells with Spice Girl. She also has aura and summoning of her stand. Spice Girl has after image creation, being able to leave numerous after images. Extrasensory perception, matter manipulation, being able to soften objects to the point of, invulnerability and elasticity, or reflecting damage back on the user, and also hardening the objects as well. Invisibility as stand users can only be seen by other stands. Incorporeality as stands are incorporeal manifestations of one's vital energy and can seemingly only be harmed by other stands. Non-physical interaction as stands can interact with ghosts and other stands. Selective intangibility, flight, and aura. So I think Sho does have more abilities technically, and you could therefore argue that he is more versatile. As to the better abilities, that's a little bit more up in the air. I'd probably say though Trish, considering being able to manipulate the matter of an object, is much more OP than anything that Sho can do. Even like power nullification, as OP as that is, it's not going to affect Trish because Trish doesn't have any psychic powers. There's then also the fact that none of them have any weapons, so there's no point to be given there. As for Sho, for weaknesses, he is slightly overconfident, and that's about it. As for Trish, all damage dealt to Spice Girl will be reflected back onto Trish and vice versa, meaning that if Trish takes damage, then it'll also transfer onto Spice Girl. So I think that Trish is more vulnerable here. Overall, who wins the fight? They can gather from this that either or could be argued stronger or more durable. Trish is faster and has better abilities, Sho is more versatile and is less vulnerable. So this fight is quite close on paper, and if you were to equalise the speed, it definitely would be, because you could argue that Sho is more powerful, and with the possibility of being able to see and interact with Trish's stand due to them both being ghosts and spirits and aura, you could very well argue that Sho could win. Of course, there are arguments that he wouldn't be able to see, Trish's stand. I've went over it in several videos before. But either way, even if he is able to see, interact, and even damage Trish's stand, Trish is just way too fast and would just beat up Sho before he could do anything. Even if you scale Sho higher than Trish is much more faster than than Sho is stronger than Trish, meaning that Trish at least over time would win, especially considering that her softening ability can bypass normal durability. Not that it would instantly one-shot Sho, but he would definitely be affected by the ability, even if he was stronger. And yeah, as I said earlier, the power nullification doesn't really matter since Trish doesn't really have any psychic powers. The invisibility for Sho could come in useful, but not only would he get blitzed before he could do that, but I mean, Trish can see invisible things, so I mean, this is not going to work. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease.